It's time now for the Kill the Can Podcast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kill the Can Podcast. I'm your host, Chewie. You want to quit nicotine and take back control of your life? We'll tell you how we've done it and answer the questions you didn't even know you had about how you can quit today. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I will apologize. It's been a couple weeks here since I brought you an episode of the podcast. Life has been kind of crazy. We've had I've got 3 boys, and so we've been through spring breaks. We've had 2 weeks of spring breaks here between the 3 boys. They go to different schools, so they've got different breaks. I think I've told you in the podcast before. If not, I know I've told you on social media. My father is currently dealing with cancer, a cancer diagnosis, and so that has kind of put my world into a little bit of a upheaval. He is doing okay, so thank you for those of you that have reached out. I appreciate it. I had this again. This is going to be a little bit different episode. I had a couple of requests for some thoughts around the Kill the Can Hall of Fame speeches, why we do them, really kind of what they are. And so I wanted to bring you the answers to those questions. And then I thought I would actually go through and read. I'm going to start with mine. I thought I would actually read you my Hall of Fame speech. So the idea behind the Kill the Can Hall of Fame, it's 100 days for those of you that don't know. And that's not to suggest that you are cured of your addiction in 100 days. Far from it. It is a nice round number. It is far enough in the future that it's a good goal to shoot for. It's far enough in the future where you have enough days behind your quit at that point where you really can feel proud of the accomplishment. It's not something that everybody can do. In fact, many people unfortunately fail. They don't get there. I'm happy to say that the people that join Kill the Can and stick with us and stick with the program and understand the true tenets of accountability and brotherhood, more often than not do get there. And then when they get to what we consider the 100-day Hall of Fame, we offer people the opportunity to write a Hall of Fame speech. And Hall of Fame speeches come in many shapes and sizes. They can be full of thoughts. They could be full of thanks. They could be, again, it's just kind of your opportunity as a 100-day quitter to reflect on your first 100 days away from your addiction, beating your addiction. Again, not to say that you're cured after 100 days. I know there's a lot of people, because of the emphasis that we put on 100 days of quit, there are a lot of people that feel that when they get there and then they still feel like shit afterwards, they think they're doing something wrong, or they start to doubt what we've been saying. And again, I want to make it very clear, you're not cured at 100 days. I mean, it really does take a long time. Especially, if you've been dipping for years, decades in some cases, it's going to take you a long time for your brain to kind of rewire and learn and relearn to do things without nicotine. But again, 100 days is, like I said, a nice round number. And it really is the first really huge milestone that we celebrate as a community. And so I wrote my Hall of Fame speech back in November of 2006. I hit the 100-day Hall of Fame on, believe it or not, on Halloween, October 31st, 2006. I quit on July 24th, 2006. So I thought I would just kind of go through my Hall of Fame speech and give you a flavor for mine. I would absolutely recommend, if you have hit the 100-day Hall of Fame and you haven't written a speech, I would absolutely recommend that every single quitter do it, because it is one of those things that not only will you get some benefit out of, not only at the time when you write it, but when you look back on it. I can't tell you how many times I've gone back and reflected on how I felt in my words from November 2006. But you never know when your words are going to reach a fellow quitter. I put all the Hall of Fame speeches on the website. You never know when they're going to reach a fellow quitter, and what you say in that speech might help somebody else in their quit. And that's all about, kind of giving back and helping the rest of the community. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read mine. It's called Episode 3, The Final Quit. And the title of this coincides with the release of Star Wars Episode 3. So which is why I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So that's kind of why that title is there. So Episode 3, The Final Quit. Allow me to apologize in advance for the obscure movie quotes, references, and song lyrics that are to follow. I've never been much of a writer, and it's always been easier for me to express myself with other people's words. That and the fact that deep inside, I'm just a little kid who has never and will never grow up. Without further ado, Autobots, transform and roll out. Snare drums. Fanfare. Darkness. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Music. Scroll. Chew Wars, Episode 3, The Final Quit. It is a period of internal struggle. Chewie, our hero, has been battling an addiction for over 16 years. He's finally come to a point in his life where he's determined to defeat the Imperial forces and their fearless leader, the Kodiak Bear. It will be a long and hard fight, but unbeknownst to him, he will not have to fight this battle alone. The forces of KillTheCan.org and Cliff's cohesive units are standing by to join in the fight. Okay, that should just about cover Star Wars, though I'm sure it will return later. Like most of you, I have battled this Nick demon for years and years. I can remember very vividly my first dip. I was standing on the bleachers at my high school football game. Mike K offered me a wintergreen Skull Bandit and said, "Give it a try, dude. They taste awesome. Thank you for playing. Should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?" And a little side note here, Mike K actually, years and years later, became a quitter at KillTheCan.org. And he had no idea of my involvement in Kill the Can. And I'm happy to say that he managed to quit as well. So it was kind of a really cool full circle moment for me when I realized who it was, that the guy that gave me my first Wintergreen Bandit that many years ago ultimately came around and quit as well, which I thought was just kind of really, really cool. So back to my speech. I assumed that I could have one or two, be one of the cool kids, and be on my way. Assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. I went right through all the quit dates that I had set for myself. Birthdays, anniversary, graduation. I awoke on July 24th, 2006, and something was different. My son, no, I am your father, who had been on this earth for just a little over a month, had slept relatively good that night. My darling wife, women, you can't live with them and they can't be standing up, was still sleeping as I drug my tired ass out of bed. I went into the closet, threw in a dip of Kodiak, and began my day. Bathroom, shower, drive to work, etc. As I sat by my desk with a lipper in, I was surfing around the web looking for pictures of what I was going to look like when my jaw fell off. It was as if I had given up and accepted my fate. I'll put you out of your misery. Say when. My life changed that day. I hadn't planned on quitting, but I took out my dip and started reading. I didn't post with October 06 right away, but read everything that I could. I first posted on August 7th because I really hanging and I needed some help. Citizen Rob answered right away and really helped to put my mind at ease. From that moment on, I knew that this could be done. I knew that I was not alone. I do have Verizon, the network, and that I wasn't going to have to do this on my own. I can't even begin to tell you how scared I was. Scared of a life without my best friend. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. However, I was going to give it my best shot. Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. I knew that I was in for a fight of my life and for my life, and that I'd need to be up to the challenge. Like a midget at a urinal, I was going to have to stay on my toes. Quitting dipping is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. I don't mean to talk about it in the past tense, and I'm not done quitting. I'm in the process of quitting every day. I wake up every day and I look at it as a new challenge. Today was a good day. But they all haven't been like that. The first few weeks felt like something had been ripped away from me. They took the bar, the whole fucking bar. I'm not going to go through my entire quit here. Others have done a far better job of explaining what it's like to quit. Thanks, 7-Iron. But I will say this. I still to this day feel that I dealt with just about every symptom that I've heard of when it comes to quitting. When troubles come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. Tired jaw, tingling jaw, crawling jaw, acid reflux, dizzy, foggy, rage, aches, pains, insanity, and depression. Hell, I even took myself to the emergency room twice. It's me, Dr. Rosenpenis. Who? Me, Dr. Rosen. Where's the records room? The bottom line is that I made it. I went through 100 days and I didn't have a dip. I talked on numerous occasions about redefining myself. I'm still in the process of working through that, and I'm sure that it will take me quite a while. Whenever I have a tough day, I take solace in this. I chewed for 6,000 days. I'm not going to be okay in a little over 1,000. I guess some mistakes you never stop paying for. I can say this. I'm a hell of a lot better off now than I was back in July. This is not the end of my road. It's simply a stop on the way. I'll admit that I've had crazy thoughts. I'll have a celebratory dip for 100 days. That is the power of our addiction. I can't ever go back. I won't ever go back. There is nothing I can state with any more certainty. Never, ever, ever think you can have just one dip. I'm just $5 at a gas station away from my can-a-day habit. I know that the Nick bitch is still there just waiting for me to fuck up. She's very deceptive that way. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. The difference now is that I've got tools in my back pocket and not a tin anymore. I've been shown the way by people that came before me and defeated their demon. I'm a follower in this instance, and I love it. You go over what he draws with a pen. That's tracing. And now I've come to the most difficult part. I'm going to attempt to recognize some people that helped me along the way. I know that I'll leave someone out. Please don't take it personally. I owe each and every one of you my life, and that fact that you're not listed here does not change that. My darling wife, for putting up with my shit for 13 years. I love you. Side note, it'll be 25 years this August. There's something in the way she moves or looks my way or calls my name that seems to leave this troubled world behind. My son, you are my pride and joy, my boy. Daddy will be here to teach you to walk, throw, ride a bike, get a kiss, etc. All without dip. Another side note, I now have 2 more boys. The boy that I was talking about in this particular speech was 53 days old when I quit. He's now 16 years old. I have a 15-year-old and I have an 8-year-old. Steve-O, GK, Stacy, Citizen Rob, Deanna, Malibu, Ruster, Dink Shooter, etc. You guys are truly our brothers from another mother. I owe you everything. Thank you. Lobo, we have a Kodiak kinship that will never end. God bless you. Thank you. The units. Whether you know it or not, you've changed me, motivated me, and helped me. I can honestly say without you, I would still be chewing. I owe you my life. Thank you. Remshot, Houday, 7-Iron, Quitting Time, GMS, Loot, Archcubed, Janhawk, Sue. You have shown me what quitting is all about. Thank you. Cope with Quitting. On August 10th, you made a post that saved my life, my sanity, and my life. Thank you. The St. Nicafreeze, Jan 07 Hall of Fame class, and February 2007 class. You've given me an incredible gift. Right around day 50 in my quit, I made a decision to stop worrying about myself and trying to help others. Now I've become one of the biggest post whores on the board, but it really does help me to help others. If I'm bothering you guys, tell me to go away. Thank you. KillTheCan.org. Thank you. Through the years and miles between us, it's been a long and lonely ride, but if I got that call in the dead of the night, I'd be right by your side. This goes for each and every one of you. Whatever, wherever, whenever. I'm here for you. Thanks for guiding me on this journey. Thanks for standing behind me when I was babbling idiot. He is answering a question from a half an hour ago. Thanks for letting me vent, answering questions, understanding what I was going through, and for just being. Do I remember my life as a chewer? I do. Do I still crave it? I do. Will I ever dip again? I cannot say. Will I dip today? I will not. A man is defined by his actions, not his memories. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Chewie. So that was my Hall of Fame speech. Again, I wrote it on November 20th, 2006. There are thousands of Hall of Fame speeches on KillTheCan.org. I would urge you, if you have not written one, please consider doing it. It will help you at the time. It will give you something to look back on years after you've been quit, and you just never know when it's going to help somebody else. We'll talk to you soon, quitters. Have a good one.
Join us again next time for another edition of the Kill the Can podcast.